Good morning, everyone. Hopefully, we are enjoying our Wednesday, and we saw the good news yesterday. Hopefully, we'll be able to see each other in person soon. All right, so let's go ahead and start warming up. This is Cypress Mobility and Fall Prevention. I'm Ryan, and let's start off marching, getting that blood pumping. Here we go. Getting those knees nice and high. We want to make sure that we have some weights today in that maybe 3 to 10 pound range. We have our water bottle just behind me. And similar to last week, getting something that can elevate our feet a little bit higher. We're going to work a little bit of greater range of motion. Keep up that pumping. Got 13 seconds. And time. Good stuff. Let's do our side steps next, where we're going to bring our hips back, our chest is lifted. Here we go. Back and forth. We're staying low. Keeping, again, our chest lifted, working the sides of our legs, those hips, helping to protect our knees. We're always welcome to stay close to our chair as we go from side to side. And it can even be back and forth like this. Seconds. And time. Good stuff. Let's work on those zigzags next, where we're going to stay in that low position. We're going in and out. 45 degrees. Back and forth. Halfway through, and trying to stay nice and low. We can stand up higher if we need to. We're working on getting those hips back a little bit. 10 more seconds. Awesome, good job. Let's do our opening thoracic reverse lunges. Hands are on our chair, stepping back, and then we're opening up to one side. Remember that leg that steps back, that hand stays on our chair. Keep it coming. "19 seconds left." Thinking about opening that thoracic spine to the opposite side and getting a little bit of a stretch in our low back as well. Opening those hips up. Good job. Nice. Let's work on our balance, checking in with where it is today with our tree pose. So we're going to ground one foot to the floor, and then we're lifting up our leg. We can have that toe grounded, our heel touching, but finding whatever balance we have today. might be a little off. Might be our best day ever balancing. We can keep our hands in our heart center, that center line. We have one hand on our chair. We can even lift those arms up to the sky. Thinking about having our feet nice and strong. Through and time. Good stuff. Switching to that other side. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Finding that peace within, that balance. We can lift our arms if we want. Through. And time. Good stuff. Let's get our sip of water. And before we start off, let's open those hips up a little bit. We're going to get into that low, deep squat. We're actually going to work our upper body first today, but it's important that we get a nice deep squat in each day, and we don't have that on the agenda today. So let's have our hands on that chair and dropping down into that squat, breathing. We're stretching our back, stretching our hips, our knees, and our ankles. Breathing in and out, enjoying that stretch. Nice, coming on up. Alright, so we're going to start off with our bent over row today, where we're going to have our weight, and we can use our hand on that chair or our hand on our opposite thigh. And I think we're all familiar with this by now, hopefully. The movement that we want to work on is having our feet about shoulder width apart. We slide our foot back. And again, we can support ourselves with our hand. We're hinged forward. That core is braced. And we're going to lift that shoulder blade up and follow through with our arm. Let's give it a go. Ready? Set. Here we go. So, letting that arm follow through. Looking for that 90 degrees of our upper and our lower arm. Building strength, that stability, and also keeping that core engaged. We're not just leaning over here, working that whole body. Nice and strong through that front leg, our knee bent. And time. Good stuff. Let's switch to the other side now. So we'll have that opposite leg in the front, and knees bent, getting ready, and engaging that core, hinging. Ready, set, here we go. Activating, pulling through. Using that breath, we're exhaling the weight up, inhaling on the descent. Staying strong that whole time. Got this. And time. Nice. Good job. So now we're going to use both of our weights and we're going to work our shoulders a little bit for some scaption. And we have two options here. The first is just standing as such, or if we've been enjoying getting in that tall kneeling position, that's something that we can do where we have our knees about shoulder width apart and our feet are touching as such. On the first set, I'm going to do it standing. On the second set, I'm going to do it tall and kneeling. So let's get into that position. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. We're lifting our arms up to a height of 45 degrees and lowering the back down. Or should say to shoulder height at 45 degrees. We can keep our core engaged to help us think about keeping those armpits close to our hips. We're also welcome to squeeze those glutes nice and strong. Building that power, which sets us apart from our other primate cousins. Ability to stand up and walk. All thanks to our glutes. Keep it up. Last time. And, oh, there we go. And time. All right. Now, we're going to work on some plank taps. So we're working core stability with some of that upper body strength, our pecs, our shoulders. So I want you to find that place where you usually do your push-ups. We're going to elevate just to make sure we have good form. And we want to have our hands basically shoulder width apart. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring our hand to our opposite shoulder. But what's crucial is we want to keep our hips in line with the rest of our spine. We want to try to not let it waver too much. So make your way to your kitchen counter, to your wall, to your couch, wherever you do these. And we'll have our hands in position. 3, 2, 1. We can get our feet out nice and wide. Then we're tapping. We're thinking about pressing into that ground with that hand that stays to the floor. Keep it up. Core strong, stable. Almost through. And time. Nicely done. Let's get us some more water. Then we're going to go into our lower body. Well done. So, our first two exercises are going to be split squats and then single leg deadlifts. So we can have that chair, and I challenge you to grab some weight on these split squats today, where we're going to have, if we have hand support, it's going to be next to that forward leg, and then weight is going to be in the hand of that rear leg. We want our feet about shoulder width apart, just a wider base. And we're going to inhale on the way down, exhaling up. We choose the depth, how far we go. Let's do it. So we're inhaling on our way down, exhaling up. So you don't have to have that knee touch the floor. but you're welcome to if you want. You don't have to have something to hold on to. You can even have weight in both hands. But if you have weight in one, have it in that side that has that leg in the back. And time. Good stuff. So, switching to that other side, and that same premise. If you have hand support, it's with the front leg, that side. Weight is in the rear legs side. Ready? Set. Let's go. Inhaling, coming down. Exhaling up. So thinking about that core, braced, it's strong. Imagine we have a belt around our belly, and we're gently pressing into that belly. Or into that belt, I should say. Keep it up. Inhaling, coming down. Exhaling up. And time. Good job. Nice. So next up we have our single leg deadlifts, where we can use both hands if we want, but try to definitely use one. That way we can use the stepwise function of this chair for support and balance. All right. So choosing which side you want to do first. It can be whichever side you did initially on your split squats. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So that knee is slightly bent. We're inhaling, bringing our torso close to parallel to the floor and lifting back up. We're inhaling on our way down. Exhaling on our way up. Inhaling down. Exhaling up. Sticking with it. And time. Good job. Let's switch to the other side now. We'll have that left leg grounded, or whichever side you didn't do. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Again, inhaling, coming on down. Exhaling up. Think about that torso and that rear leg staying connected. That's the most important part. Again, inhaling on our way down. And exhaling as we stand up. Leading with that chest, legs staying with it, coming back up. And time. Good job. So, talking about getting that book or a set, whatever we have, to help us get a little bit higher, we're going to do our calf raises. And The reasoning of something to elevate is so we have the balls of our feet on that edge, and we can get our heels a little bit lower. Now, the book I'm using here isn't that big of a difference, but it'll help. If we have a step or a very thick book, that would definitely be helpful. So, we're going to do each leg individually, and I'll show it both with the book and without the book. So, starting off, I'm going to have all my right leg doing all the work. So we're taking an inhale, and we're exhaling, pressing up, getting that heel as high as we can. Now, if we can't get it too high, there's a few options. We can put the other leg down, press up as high as we can with both, lift that left leg, then lower all the way down on the right. Now, another option is I put some of my weight in a chair on a kitchen counter, and that takes less weight out of that right leg. Now I can also do this to get a little more range of motion, which is a greater eccentric, so developing even more strength in those calves, in those feet. We might be a little more sore because of that, but as long as we rest adequately, recover, then we'll end up stronger. That's good. Let's switch sides. So let's recap. 3, 2, 1. I can go just up and down on one leg. I can even do it with both feet. But if I'm looking to do some unilateral training and help strengthen my feet and legs even more, go up with both, lift that right, and lower down on the left. And we're trying to get a maximum range of motion. So if we have access to being a little bit higher, we press up high and let our heel go below the toes, that'll help us tremendously. Again, pressing high, lowering down. Nicely done. All right, so we're going to repeat everything. We're going to start off with our bent over row. Let's get some water first. All right. So I'm going to demonstrate using the chair on this round. Let's get into position. Again, feet are about shoulder width apart, and we slide that leg back. Here we go. Let's begin. We're lifting that weight up nice and strong. Bracing that core, having it press into that imaginary belt, or maybe we're even wearing a belt. Almost through. And time. Good job. Let's switch sides. Getting that weight, left hand, that right leg forward. Here we go. Engaging that core. Let's do it. Now we don't necessarily have to look down as we drop that head, but we can keep our head in line with the spine as long as we feel like we have a good technique with that movement, with that pulling. Again, that shoulder blade initiates, and then we follow through with that arm. And time. Good job. Let's do our Scaption next. So I mentioned I would do it tall kneeling that next round, where we can come down to the floor. We have our knees shoulder width apart. And again, our feet are together. So these are my knees, these are my feet. Let's get ready. And if we're tall kneeling or if we're standing, really focus on engaging that core, squeezing those glutes. Ready, set, here we go. And actively keeping those shoulder blades down, away from our ears. Nice and strong, staying with it. Again, don't let those shoulders shrug up. Core tight, glutes tight. And time. Good job. Let's do our plank taps next. So with our plank taps, let's go over to our counter, our couch, or wall. Let's find that position. Again, we're actively pressing into it with that hand that stays grounded. And we're tapping. So hopefully we've made it over to where we need to be. Here we go. Getting in position. 3, 2, 1. Let's tap. Pressing, lowering. Pressing, lowering. And that core is strong and balanced. Again, focusing on very little movement when we tap. That transition is crucial. Trying to keep those hips from moving. The whole lumbo-pelvic control. It's a struggle. Keep it up. And we're done. Awesome. Let's get that water, and then we'll work our legs some more. Alright, so we got our split squats. Everyone's favorite split squats. And actually, we're going to add an option. So, with the split squat, we can change the height and make it a little harder where we get a little more range of motion. So, I'm going to have my front foot on something a little higher, this book. This allows us to keep tension on that front thigh the whole time. I can drop a little bit lower, and it's a little harder to lock my knee out, which when we lock our joints, we take that tension off the muscles, we put it in our joints and our bones. Both have their use, but if you're looking to build a little bit more strength, we can do it this way. So this is a fun exercise. So that front foot elevated split squat. We can also have it in the rear. We will not do that today. Ready? Set. Here we go. Inhaling, coming down. Exhaling up. Now again, I was saying, if we are elevating this a little bit higher, don't feel like you have to lock your knee out, or even if you're not elevating. You're keeping tension on those quads that whole 60 seconds if we are not locking our knee out. Now there's a time and a place to lock our knee out where we're really focusing on that muscle contraction. We're squeezing it actively. You can do that. Staying strong, almost finished. Nice. Good job. Let's switch sides now. Alright. So that same premise here. Getting ready. Inhaling tall. And let me start that timer. Don't want to do extra reps unless we have to. Inhaling, coming down. Exhaling up. Staying with it. Almost through. And time. Good job. Well done. So we'll get ready for our single leg deadlifts. Okay. So we can use that chair. And again, we can hold on to the weight. We can either do it same side or opposite side. I did same side my first set. I'm going to do opposite side my second set to work the medial, the inside portion of my hamstring. Feel free to join me. Let's get ready. Right leg is grounded, weight in that left hand. Inhaling, coming down. And thinking about keeping that core braced. Almost through. 2 seconds. Nice. Good job. Let's switch. So we'll get the weight in the right hand, left leg grounded. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Okay, inhaling, coming down, thinking about those hips being squared right in front and pointing to the ground, not out to the side. Almost through. Got 17 seconds. Belly strong. Ankles, knees, hips, and time. Good. Let's get ready for those calf raises again. We can grab our book, our step, whatever we're using, go a little bit higher. Greater range of motion. So we also have the option, if we want, to hold on to some weight. If we have a good plantar flexion, we get our heels nice and high, we can hold on to our weight if we want to. Let's find that position. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. That heel is hanging off. Pressing as high as we can and lowering. Now remember, we have the option of both feet going up and down. The option of up with both, lowering down on one. We're going up and down on one side like I am here. Keep it up. Almost through. Staying strong. And time. Nice. Let's switch to the other side. So again, we have that option of taking some weight out of it by leaning over. And if we do that, I prefer like a counter as opposed to a chair. That way we can put our whole body onto it there. Let's do it. Ready? Set. Go to that other side. Pressing up high. Lowering, nice and controlled. And time. Nice. Before we get a sip of water, let's do one more deep stretch. Getting those hips. Holding onto our chair. Be nice and wide. Lowering those hips. Sinking. Tailbone down. Stretching that back. Hips or knees. Awesome. And coming on up. Let's get that water. We'll continue our stretching in our chair. Right. So, let's get our feet nice and wide. And for those who had some challenging access to what we just did, this will be a good alternative. We're inhaling nice and tall. We're exhaling, leading with our chest. And we can walk our hands down, keeping that head up. That allows us to keep our balance. If we drop our head, that might be a little too much. Stretching those hips, stretching that back. Good. Inhaling, lifting up. Bringing our feet back to normal. Let's start to stretch out that spine a little bit more. We're going to do our cat-cow, where we're going to arch that back. So let's think about tucking that tailbone, rounding our back as small as we can into a ball. And we're reversing. Starting to tuck that back, opening our chest, lifting our head. Here we are in our cow, and then reversing our tiny ball to our cat. Inhaling up, and exhaling down. Inhaling up, and exhaling down. Let's do a few more at our own pace. Really think about elongating that spine, and then reversing. Compress. Awesome. On our next inhale, let's lift our arms up to the sky. We're exhaling, twisting, bringing out that washcloth. Inhaling, lifting back up. Exhaling to the other side. A few more times. Twist. Awesome. All right. Let's stretch our hips. Let's bring one ankle up around our knee and both are below, depending on that opposite knee's flexion. We're inhaling tall. We're exhaling over the elevated knee. touch with that breath. Nice. Let's inhale tall, dropping that leg, switching sides. Inhaling, lifting up, and exhaling over that knee. Good stuff. Inhaling, lifting up. Dropping our feet down. Let's stretch out our chest, our shoulders, bringing one arm across that chest, hugging it in, making sure we're not on that elbow, but behind or in front. Good. Switching. Other side. And time. Good stuff. Let's find the back of our chair. Skin on back. Placing our hands on our thighs. And close those eyes. Getting in touch with our breath. In and out through our nose. Noticing the rising and falling. Our belly. Chest, and you breathe deeper, and then letting it all come back down towards the earth. Visualizing some gentle ocean waves, crest and the trough, just like our breath here. Imagine we're floating water, the waves, picking us up and letting us down. Our breath has that same power. We can energize ourselves with faster breaths. That also comes into stress. You might not notice it, but our breath rate might be a little faster. So we can start to use that breath to calm us, to lower that stress, lower that heart rate, and our breath rate. Those deeper breaths, getting in that oxygen, getting rid of that CO2, which is that true instigator for wanting us to breathe. Spending as long as we want this deep breathing, and finding ourselves not trying to control our breath, but just simply being, and choosing to stay in that position as long as we want. As always, it's been a pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. The light in me recognizes the light in you. Namaste.